California and
It's
Canada,
a corridor that's going to connect.
well, no, California and Canada have the same population, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a corridor up to Canada.
800
You
people
want
have
something
used
to
assisted
drink like
suicide.
that?
You know how many people they've assisted suicide in Canada? 50,000.
Yeah, they're
Same
passing a law right
same
now.
population.
They're passing a law right now. Well, you could suicide your child if you're not happy with them.
I know. It's sick.
It's pretty bad. Like a 14-year-old, 13-year-old as a parent, like you could off your kid. It's pretty sick. It's scary. And in 2025, they can now recommend suiciding you for mental health.
Mental health, homelessness. You're not going to be contributing to
So
society.
if you're depressed because you're broke,
children that are
they could kill you. I'm scared to go back to Canada because he's talking about flat Earth. So he's in front of the whole audience now, Justin Trudeau, and he's like, before COVID, I was really fascinated with flat earthers, and he's talking in front of hundreds of people, and it's like, oh, so you're using COVID now as a historical pivot point for what you were obsessed with before vaccinating everybody. Weird, because I said that they would try to vaccinate everybody if they couldn't shut down flat Earth. So that was weird. And he represents the Crown of England.
I know.
So that's not even a real country. That's a project. It's the British North American Act, which used to run the United States before the Revolution. It's a one-pager with lots of crossed out sections.
That is true.
It looks like they were drunk when they signed it. And that's the agreement a priori to the American Revolution for all the area. And New York was Montreal, Canada. And guess where Kamala Harris went to high school?
I don't know.
Where?
Westmount High, Montreal. The biggest, I would say, Zionist, power brokering
She
sort of.
wasn't born there, though, was she?
No, she went to school there. So
Her
she's.
parents were not born in the United States.
I don't have a problem with Israel next to the, but I'm just saying that's where she's from. Montreal is a sort of fiefdom situation, which is like not capitalism. It's kind of mafionomics.
What do you want?
The Hells Angels are the thugs for the mafia, and the cops and the crown. They never arrest them. It's the Hells Angels, the bikers. So you got the bikers. You got these kind of, I would say, atheist sort of power elite from Europe, and you have this massive bureaucracy that keeps growing. But that was the power center of Montreal for trade in the whole North America, and Florida helped fight the King of England, the King of Spain. So Florida has kind of got an interesting sort of relationship with the people that were against the Crown of England. And Louisiana has affinity to the French, and Marie Antoinette and King Louis, they funded the American Revolt. So that's why they cut her head off. What they did is they stopped food coming into France because they knew what was going on with King Louis and Marie Antoinette. The people got hungry. They didn't like that she was eating cake. It was all because they created like a blockade, like they do with Russia now. Yep. And the people were starving, and so they came and cut her head off. But they were mad because they funded the American Revolution.
Well, you see, you know more about that.
But Montreal and Kamala Harris, there's some sort of history going on there.
She wasn't.
You know her parents are Marxists, like school of.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as Marxism.
Well, it's an ideology that's communism.
Yeah, but it's a front for oligarchy. There's never been true Marxism. There's never been true communism.
But that's their mindset.
I know they BS the masses that they're gonna get free money and free things and free rent.
That's
and they're like,
that's communism.
Well, it's really
It's redistribution of wealth.
Yeah, but it's really interesting when you think about how did they put, like, I always thought, and no one thinks this, is like, why did you live in East Berlin? Like, you could have just crossed over before the last brick in the wall was done. So what was going on was, as they were making the wall in Berlin, you had some people in the West going, oh, I heard they're handing out free money and free healthcare and a free apartment. And they ran to the East. Then you had people in the East going, they're trying to shut down my business. So they ran to the West. So the people who thought, hey, I won't have to work and I'll get
Want
money,
anything free.
they got locked into a gulag with the bricks. And it was like, oh, the doors slammed shut and they can't get out. In the Czech Republic, people were having
My bad luck.
the Czech Republic, before the Iron Curtain went up, people were having their bank accounts shut down for what they were saying.
Yep.
And now they're starting to do that here. They're arresting people for their Facebook
all
posts.
going west, the thing. And so
And I'm probably going to be arrested, just so everybody knows. Me.
For Facebook
For my
posts.
Facebook post. I will be.
They are now arresting people in the United
I'm
States.
surprised I haven't been fired from my job.
you guys keep the light going.
My Facebook posts are pretty harsh.
But let me ask
But
you.
there were people in the Czech
Are
Republic.
they Trumpers at your job?
I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to say what I want to say.
Yeah.
No, you're
Well, I
doing
don't
too
know.
well.
I don't know.
What?
You're doing too well for them to.
Yeah, I am.
Well,
doing
well,
really
Trump, when he got the nominee, he was at Mar-a-Lago, and
They broke in.
he was at Mar-a-Lago when he got nominated as the candidate. And so he went up to do his speech, and it was apparently a very dark speech. And he said, I'm going to inherit a mess. The economy's going to suck because of what Biden did. So he's going to spend 4 years blaming Biden. And Biden's going to spend 4 years blaming Trump. That's all they're doing.
That's not going to happen.
They better not.
No, let me tell you.
No, I feel like he can go in there. So as soon as we look at Saudi Arabia.
I hope he goes there and
Look
does
at there,
Project
or the
2025.
Emirates or wherever.
But he might also kick people like
No.
me out with a son.
No. Here's what's going to happen. I really feel like we have more liquid gold in this country underground than most other countries. Even
Oh yeah,
Saudi
with the
Arabia.
Gulf.
Let me tell you, in Saudi Arabia, you don't have to work if you don't want to. They are so wealthy with oil. All the people are wealthy. If you want to work, you can, but you do not have to. We have more oil under us than they do. If he really wants to free this country, he will give those reserves to the people and make us wealthy as a country.
That's what he did the first time.
But we're going to sell our oil to ourselves.
Sell.
So then we need money, so we
No.
have to work.
I don't think we should. I think he knows that we could be beyond, it could go beyond, we could be so wealthy as a country if the powers that be would just let us and take away all the regulations. We could be the wealthiest country on the planet.
Well, I didn't finish my theory.
And I think that he's prepared to make that happen.
Well, optics and all that. But here's my dark theory for he's saying that.
He didn't
but then
say it.
something's
I
gonna
think-
happen.
No, he didn't say that. I think it.
Well, this is a theory you should watch out for. So he wins. He wins.
Wants
Okay,
to
so
be a success more than
he
wants
wins.
anything.
He wins. There's the CIA and there's the communists and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And there's
So
the
that's what military tribunals
Baffet and all.
That's what military tribunals are.
Well, here's a theory.
Hang them. If they're communists, hang them.
Well, here's the theory. Here's the theory. Here's the theory. Okay?
Sorry.
Here's
Let him
the
get his theory.
here's the
out.
theory.
It's my theory.
So you watch when these things start. So I'm gonna tell you the theory. So when it starts,
Well,
if he wins, start watching these notes like a music piece. And then you're gonna see. I'm gonna give you all the notes. Okay. Looks like Kamala's gonna win. Maybe something comes out about Trump. He's not gonna win. It's neck and neck. Kamala's gonna win. She's gonna be the president. She doesn't win. The Democrats go bonkers. Okay? They go bonkers.
Follow script.
They do the January 6th now.
Yeah.
Trump's in charge. Oh, so now we're going to do what you did to me and my people. I'm going to do it to you. That's going to be the catalyst for Project 2025. We got to go into all the agencies. They're all biased. Now you're going to have the agencies and the people that were there that were Democrats that have access to information and military tools and intelligence. They're not going to like Project 2025. That's going on. That's fomenting while they're going in and firing everybody. Then, Project 2025. Deport all the illegals. Deport people that are not,
He's going to do that.
deport
right
people
away.
that are not white or whatever it is. Okay. So then what happens is that
He said he was going to deport all the criminals.
now you got all these, I don't know how far this will go. Now you got all these, if they want a civil war for some other, what I say is, don't look at what they're saying they're going to do. but rather what both sides are saying and how that might create a collision that creates something you're not expecting, like a leader you are not even knowing that will come through the ashes of an aftermath of a civil war.
Do you
That
believe
is the
everything-
model
do
you need
think
to watch out
everything
for.
Do you think everything from A to B, start to finish, is all scripted and everything's happening
Yes.
as planned
If-
out?
if
And
these notes-
do you think Trump's involved in that?
He may be the useful idiot, and he's not. He's smart, but he doesn't understand at what level there's sociopaths around him. He may be compromised. He may really be like, okay, I'm surrounded. I'm going to use Project 2025, and I'll do my best. But he's still up against that
The
element.
machine.
Yeah, the
You have to
machine.
go out.
And that machine wants to return to slavery.
Then why haven't they killed him?
Well, there's a lot of people that are questioning that entire assassination. And, like...
I think it was staged.
Yeah, like...
No,
like
I don't.
I was talking to Brazilians about
I mean, I've
Bolsonaro.
heard that there have actually been actual poisoning attempts on his life.
Yeah, but
I don't know if it's true.
Well, let me finish with the theory,
Why
and then I'll
haven't
get
they
back to
done
that.
it?
So
Do
then,
you want a drink?
sure, I'll get a drink. Thank you. So you got all these immigrants that came in, and I was at the border. So I came in to process my work visa, and I had to wait there. Like, where was I for the last 4 years? Blah blah. So I didn't want anything to do with this COVID.
Which border?
Mexican border.
Okay.
So coming in through Texas. And while I'm waiting there, I would see a U.S. Customs guy go, okay, and then like suddenly, all men under 30, 18 to 30, Latin American, would all be giddy, like, I'm nervous going through the border.
Take your pick.
I want to see my son.
One's kombucha and the one on the left is Zevia. It's
Well,
a no-calorie erythritol
Ronald, you
drink.
want this?
It's not
I'm
no
full right
calories
now.
Oh, I like soda a lot.
And no sugar.
Not good?
These guys would come in. So I'd be here, and then there'd be a row of chairs here, and a row of chairs here, and a row of chairs here, and a row of chairs here. He would go to the door, and he would go to the door, and he would come in, and then these guys would all be giddy, and they would run in in fashion, like they knew, and they would fill in the front row, and he would take the seat there, and the next seat, and they'd all be kind of like giggling, like it was Stripes with Bill Murray, like they were kind of boot camp energy, and they'd all sit down and be like, hey, and they'd be like kind of, I'm like, you're going to the border, and you're Latin American, and you're like excited. It's weird. And then another row would fill in, another row would fill in. Then the door behind the wicket would open up, and then the guy would go, okay. So I don't know what was going on. I'm just telling you what's going on. And then boom, they would say a name, and then this guy would get up and go. Like they all knew what to do, and then they would all move down, like volleyball players. And then boom, and then next guy would move and move. And they would go through the door and they would disappear. They wouldn't go back out this way, like everybody else, they would just go that. And they would do chunks of them, like 20 at a time, while I was waiting.
And they're being armed.
Well, the thing is that it says that if you come across the border, or you're in the U.S., any man in the U.S. under 35 has to be registered in selective service for the military, for a draft. Any man under 35, that's the law. And the law also states that if you want to get a path to citizenship, you join the military. That's the law. So you're a Venezuelan
drafting
thug.
them.
You got a Venezuelan
You know
thug?
who they're going to stand them up against? The American people.
Or I'm thinking it's even better. They go to war against China and Russia and Taiwan. It's like, okay, let's fight our battles.
And then they're all like,
uh-oh.
uh-oh.
Like, if Trump's a good guy and they still good, want to shut down China
I
and
was
Iran,
listening to
whatever.
a woman on a radio show saying that she was paid. No, she wasn't.
But what I want to finish the notes on this theory. So now you got all these guys in some separate facility training in the U.S. military, like who speak Spanish, in like New Mexico
Well,
or
they're from
Nevada.
all over the world.
Yeah, and they get their path to citizenship as long as they serve in the military. Okay, and there was a senator who just said that these young men want to join the military, so he reiterated the law. That was just recently.
Yeah.
So now these guys are all in the military. They're all being trained right now, okay, to use either in Ukraine or Russia or China or here, whatever, because of a pandemic, or
The bird.
a pandemic and a war and Project 2025. So now you got all these guys that are from Nicaragua and Venezuelan, busting down homes, pulling out their Venezuelan wife and mother with children. They're crying, and it's not settling well with them that they're doing this to their own kind. So it starts to reverberate. And then it's fomenting in the agencies that they're getting liquidated because they're Democrats. And then you got the January 6th Democrats against Trump's win.
In 2025.
And he's coming in with, he's got it all for Project 2025. You have the elements right now for a civil war.
I think that'll happen the day after the election.
And it'll be that.
Yeah.
And they'll just do it all in 1 week.
I don't think Trump is really behind the 2025.
No, he's not. But he's a vehicle,
to implement it.
Well, there's a bunch of things I agree with that. Like criminalization of pornography. Sorry, bye, get a job.
And him,
just opening up your legs and doing all this stuff. You need to go to re-education camp where they'll probably get raped.
Right, on camera.
It's like on camera they get raped. It's what you want to do in your apartment, right?
Why not do it for the government?
So and they want to. Now, Project 2025 is fake if they don't shut down the dispensaries. And they don't round up all the card users and the smokers.
What if Kamala wins?
Well, if Kamala wins, you're going to have a very easy invasion of the U.S.
We're already being invaded.
You're going to have this transsexualism. But what I heard,
we're already being invaded, Mom.
What I heard is this is going alt-right. They went left, and Jordan Peterson said, he says, "Oh, you've seen the left.
I like Jordan.
You've seen the left, and they took over, and they've done everything, all of it. They've taken over our society, but you've never seen the right yet. But you'll notice it when it goes right, right? And then it's not like the left when the left took power. When the right is a totally different ball game, and you keep pushing them, keep trying to drag the right to the left. You'll find out soon enough. It'll snap." Right back.
I like Jordan.
And he's gonna, he's
right.
And I heard, well, he's right because that's
equal,
the right
equal and opposite reaction.
And that's what the right usually is. It's a reaction to what was going on. And so
this whole woke, transgender, LGBTQXY crap makes me sick.
Now, what I heard for your theory is that they wanted the parades with the pedos. They wanted them to start adding the P to the LGBTQ. They wanted all these creeps. I want to be a woman. I want to be a man. They wanted everybody doing drugs so they can easily identify everybody and round them up. So you could have your camps for that. You could have your Project 2025 for that. You could have your Make America Great for that. But why America? This is not America. This is United States.
No, the left is
America is Canada to Chile. So then I heard they're going to make the whole thing an empire, and it's going to go.
I don't think it's that complicated. I think really what it is, it's the elites want to divide and conquer at all times. They want us fighting against one another.
But you could say make the United States great again. But he wrote America because people go, "You're not even American." Like somebody came up to me the other day and said, "You're out of here. You're not even American." I go, "Yeah, I'm American. I'm actually more American than you. I lived in Canada, the U.S., and Mexico."
That's all of America.
Yeah. That's North America. And I speak 3 languages, Spanish, French, and English. The 3 colonial languages of the Americas. So I'm not a United States national or citizen.
You're not part of the USA Corporation.
But it's America all the way down to Chile. That's what it's called. It's called America.
North America.
North America, Central America, and South America. And so Americans seem to lose sight of that. So it's like, is it a legal way of saying that they're going to create a huge empire? And I heard that's their plan. Either a socialist one or an alt-right one. I don't know. But I'm just bringing up the scenario of a civil war, and that would be how they would do it. I don't think there's going to be a civil war if Kamala wins. But it won't be.
I think anyone behind with the same rationale that like someone like me has, who's like a constitutional conservative mindset, feels like we want America, United States of America. We want our border. We want to be our own unified country. We don't want to be part of Canada and South America.
They got to put a wall up
there.
Do
you notice when they have these debates, they ask the Republican side, "Will you accept the transition if the other side wins?" They never asked that of the Democrats.
Well, they never accepted.
Well, the thing is that
Hillary Clinton
the
still
Democrats were the ones that are going to have a bigger
Let me
out.
just tell you, Hillary Clinton's still screaming that she won that she didn't lose the 2016 election. That it was that she. What did she get on TV and say? He's not a legitimate president. I won that election.
Well, the BLM, the Antifa, the George Floyd, all that looting and all that. That's a preview of the Democrat version of January 6th when Trump wins.
They're horrible.
So it's more likely
I truly,
Republicans they're conservative.
I truly
so
believe
they restrain
January
themselves.
6th was a setup.
Yes, it was.
And so you're saying, Math, another January 6th is coming in 2025 if Trump wins.
Even the riots were
It's going
set
to be
up.
the Democrat
Our
version.
government was
and-
dropping off pallets of bricks to these people. You know that, right?
Yeah, they're and it's
They
all.
want it all. They are. They want us.
I'm just giving the worst case scenario. Let's say there's an elite that wants a civil war. That would be the notes they would hit for Project 2025.
They want us. They want us divided financially. They want us to divide us racially. They want to divide us sexually. They want to divide us in everything. They
It's
don't want us
unbelievable.
standing
And a house
together.
divided on its own.
Right?
Can't
They
stand.
do not. No, it's not even that. They don't want us standing together because we outnumber them. We could, as a country, stand together and overthrow them.
Well,
If we would unify as a people behind ourselves to the government and say, get your shit right or we're coming after you.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say something really controversial right now. And it's going to sound racist. But if white men got together with big black boys and big white men got together, it pretty much would scare the living shit out of everybody who's like shades in between. And it's almost like those are the two. We're going to keep these two from ever getting together. Big white boys and big black boys. Because big black boys and
They
big
see
white
how
boys got
effective
together
they are.
unified.
Because they
They
see
would
how
just-
effective they are. to
They would
football
just
team.
roll through China. They would just roll through Latin America. They would just
No, we
roll.
roll through our own freaking government.
They would roll through their own government, but they would roll. And they would go, enough of this and enough of that and da-da-da.
That's the whole thing of this whole country.
I think it's like they said we're going to divide blacks and whites because we don't want those guys making a team like baseball and football.
And
they can have a baseball team and a football team.
Demasculine,
But not a government team.
Not an army.
Not an anti-government
And
team.
they're demonizing the white male. They're taking away his masculinity.
And the blacks
And
are
these
slowly being
boys,
killed off.
These guys coming out
Yeah.
of college right now,
Or
they're
imprisoned.
a bunch of wimps.
Yeah, look at what they're doing.
They're a bunch of pansies.
30% of U.S. citizens are in jail or prison. It's the highest. It's just above the world rate, which is 27%. Well, that was great. I'm gonna be posting this for Math.
No, you're not
prediction.
Yet. Like, look at this. There's a lot of sensitive material.
Mom, I have a job.
We have to think about that.
You're at work right now?
You would have to like put a shadow box on me, and these are just scenarios. These are scenarios.
You can't post that one
Your mom's in it, your sister's in it. You can hold on to it. We can talk about it. But
until after they give you their permission.
All right. Well, today is August 17th. It's Steven's birthday, 2024. And when this does go up, whenever,
Stephen's birthday?
it'll go up in January 2025 after the fact, and you'll be able to know that Math's prediction was correct.
Okay, yeah, like way after the fact.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully none of that happens, and it's just like it's a moderate. You know, like people could say whatever they want about Biden. It's like, well, you know what? We're not in gulags. You know, we're able to trade still. You know, like so. It's a lot of like bluster that leads to serious situations.
I think he's a criminal and pedophile and he sold out his own country.
Yeah,
I think
I
he's
mean-
a traitor. I think he should be hung for treason.
Who?
I think Trudeau's
What do you
the
think
problem.
of Vance?
I don't know anything about him. I heard Vance was Paul Walker Thomas playing.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that one? It's pretty. The same dots, the same.
What about what's his name? Little plumper.
Jimi Hendrix and?
No, what about Kamala Harris's running mate? He's scary.
Oh, that guy's a
He's
weirdo.
a Nazi, yeah.
No, that guy's a weirdo. He was. Look, it's like. It's gross. It's like.
What he did to his state.
Well, it's like somebody comes over to you, or your girlfriend comes over to you. It's like, oh yeah, I got 2 romantic comedies tonight. Oh, so I'm gonna watch 2 movies where it glorifies a woman cheating. It's like, I don't want to watch either. You know what I mean? Like, it's like. I mean, myself,
And
I
I
mean,
really
there was-
do think Kamala Harris was a prostitute.
I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would be fun because he wants to investigate Big Pharma. He wants to audit NASA and the CDC, and he wants to audit.
They never letting him in.
They're never let him in. But
I think Trump wants to do all that shit too. He just won't say.
Well, I know that Trump was starting to say stuff
He
like
was starting to say
investigate
stuff about
pharma.
9/11 and 9/11.
No, he was saying he's going to investigate Big Pharma.
And remember when he ran the
Right
first
now.
time, he was going to investigate 9/11. I think
He
that's
never did anything.
They
He
I
says
think that's
stuff.
why they were against him.
But I think he's also saying things because one of the guys is saying it, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was saying it. So he's like, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is getting too much traction, so I'm going to start taking his talking points. Once they're in power, they don't do nothing. Did they erase anything that the other government did? No. They never, like, Biden didn't erase any of Trump's laws.
He did.
Which one?
He set down our whole energy independence.
RF
The
Kennedy
pipeline.
is
Yeah, he shut down.
I don't think that's the real Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
We reopened our border. We had a secure border.
Well, I heard there was more people coming through with Trump.
No, way less. He had the lowest border crossings.
Not that I'm like saying that that's what
He
I
was.
heard
No,
people
he
say.
was. He had, of course, a lot of people will say it, but if you look at a graph of the whole time he was in office and when Biden took over,
But I think that's the game.
he had them stay in place. They
But
were not crossing over.
But I think that is kind of part of the game, is they want to have the same psychological elements as the American Revolution, where you had the loyalists to the crown, which were like, anybody who was against the crown was like, you're not American, or you're not from the empire, British North American Empire.
Kennedy.
So it's like kind of like the Second American Revolution will be the exact same kind of revolution, but you're too blind to see it, where you're saying, oh, all these immigrants are scum, but the country was built on immigrants.
These are not immigrants. These people are
I'm
not,
talking about the good people.
No,
There's bad people coming in.
It doesn't matter.
But
If
there's
you're-
good
if
people
you're-
coming
If
in.
you're coming in illegally,
Now you could use this on camera.
if you're coming in,
Here's-
no. If you're coming in illegally, you're breaking the law. If I cross the border into El Salvador, you know
Yeah,
what
that's
they do to
illegal,
me?
yeah.
They shoot me.
Oh yeah.
You get shot. I can't cross the border.
Yeah, now I was getting annoyed in Mexico
So,
where I was
I'm
Mexicans
just
were going,
telling
are you working
saying,
here?
You cannot start your life in America with a crime.
Yeah.
If you want to come in here the right way.
Yeah.
I don't care. Her parents, her father was an immigrant. My grandmother on my father's side was an immigrant. They came through Ellis Island.
Mm-hmm.
Come in legally. If you're a criminal, you need to be shipped the fuck out of this country.
Yeah, I don't know why they're letting in criminals and leaving the gate wide open in Texas, like I saw in some videos.
20 million.
No, there's the entire gate's
You know,
open,
two
and nobody's there.
15-year-old girls were butchered to death with a
Yeah,
knife
and the same thing's going on in Europe.
because illegal immigrant that was released 3 times
Well,
and
what-
never deported.
Well, what should happen at the border?
and the government that's letting that happen, the Biden administration that's letting it happen, is committing treason. We're being invaded. This is an invasion.
Yeah, well,
And
they're
they
drafting
are
them too.
facilitating an invasion of their own country. So they're committing treason, and they should be in a military tribunal and hung for that.
Well, they should be, military tribunal
People
for
are
the amount of people
dying.
that are dying for the vaccine. So
They're
it's like,
allowing-
so everybody's
they're-
against
They're
this and that,
allowing our
but nobody's
our children
actually.
to be murdered with fentanyl that they're allowing to come through China, from China through
Yeah.
our border, and they're allowing it to happen.
But the fentanyl's in your hospitals.
But the fentanyl that looks like candy or looks like Tylenol or looks like ibuprofen or looks like
gummy bears.
or they're putting it's not the one stuff coming from our hospitals. It's the stuff coming over our border.
So here's the solution.
They have fentanyl that looks like sweet tarts that they give to children.
So no one has a solution, and I have a solution.
Close the fucking border.
No, I got a better solution. And it stays with the American spirit of
Wait a second, back up.
immigration.
Why not close the border?
No, what you have is basically.
Why not close the border?
Well, let him answer.
Okay, so what you have is everybody's because the country was based on principles of emancipation and freedom from monarchy. That's
Come over here legally.
So you
We're
come
not
in
saying
legally,
you can't.
you come
That
in
means
legally.
close the border.
Well, the border
Come through
should-
the door.
the border was closed when I went. So I went through the
Well,
border.
they're sneaking over.
Okay, whatever. You put up.
We're incentivizing them to come.
We're
here.
talking about,
You're getting everything free. You're getting put up in a
Yeah.
hotel. You're getting released.
Yeah. Why are they doing
You're
that?
getting transported from the border to wherever you want. I mean,
Okay, so this is the solution.
They basically
So here's the solution, because there's no solution.
His
It's just complaining.
waving them over.
But it's
waving
just
them
complaining. There's
That's
no solution.
treason.
But it's just complaining, and it's just like, it's make a hard border. Here's the solution. So everybody comes through the border legally, or that you can catch with a net. You know, you basically, or claims asylum, or they're missing documents. You go, oh, okay, what's your name? Oh, okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, what's your specialty? And what does that mean? Oh, I'm a mother of two. Okay, do you have any skill sets? Oh, I clean houses. I was like, oh, I'm a mathematician. I taught in school. What are you running from? Bad economy, cartel, drugs, blah,
Are they
blah.
really running from the cartel?
Yeah, and I was there. So there's lots going on. There's 37 candidates that were murdered that oppose the reigning president of Mexico right now. So now it's going backwards in Mexico again. So that's not good. And now there's Mexicans coming up because of that. So you take these people come in where they're paying $10,000 for a coyote. So that's $10,000 they're paying to illegally enter the U.S. to a coyote. To get a green card for that person, or to come into the U.S. for asylum, the lawyer or the government is going to get money. They don't have the money to get in, and they're fear of rejection. But they have $10,000 that could go into the coffers of the U.S. government, and they might have a skill set. So what you do is they come in, they're processed, and they're given over to a holding facility, which is a vocational inspection facility, where for 4 weeks, if they're a cleaning lady or a doctor, they're now going to be investigated whether or not they told the truth. And then, oh, this person's really good at...
Who's going to pay for all that?
Let me finish. This person's really good at welding. This person's really got, a certain amount of money that they could invest. This person's good at, I don't know, cleaning up the city or repairing infrastructure that's collapsing in the U.S. So now we got this huge labor. They don't want to work. They don't want to work here. They're all fucking drug addicts. Okay? Everybody at 40 in the U.S. doesn't want to work. I can't find a person to hire to build my company at the rate I want to pay, which is $15 to $20, that won't fucking smoke a joint. And I can't deal with it anymore. And they come back in and they're walking on the floor and they're stepping in resin, and I'm losing $400 for a square freaking mile because of an American that's drugged up on pot. And he can't remember, and he doesn't want to work. And then he doesn't want to be told he doesn't work well. Oh, then it's a big problem for the millennial American who's on drugs. Then there's the passive aggressive flip out. And then it's like, wow, so I wasted my time training. Now I'm wasting my time repairing. And now I'm late. But I got a Mexican in there who's like, okay, I'm going to get some dollars, I'm going to work, I'm going to do it. And I'm like...
The same people letting them through the border are the ones...
I'm not talking about an illegal. I'm talking about a talent that wants to work, and he's running from fucking death and murder, and the country was built off that.
Well, we can't take these people in right now
So
because we've let so many people in illegally.
Yeah.
We're not taking them
So
in
we
the
have
other
to.
way.
So now you have to do the.
It has to be fixed.
So now you do the reverse deportation, where before you get rid of a genius, before you get rid of somebody who's going to offer something to the economy, now
I'm not
you
saying you should.
No, but I'm saying you process them through a filter.
Right.
It was like, this one we're going to keep. This one was lying. He's not a doctor at all. He's a drug dealer. He's got a criminal record.
Right.
He did this crime in New York City while he was with Biden.
So you get them while you're deporting them.
You could do a reverse filter through the same facility you set up in Texas and Arizona and New Mexico and California, where they're there for 4 weeks being monitored to see if they actually do the vocation they claim. Then they are hired by the government to go out, and part of their salary is paid as an immigration tax. Now the government's receiving money that they would otherwise be giving to the coyotes.
But what I'm trying
And
to
now
say
you're
is
getting
they're never
talent
gonna do it.
and you're getting pool, and then the people who want to be here and they're running from something, they want a better life. Well, we got bridges collapsing, and the Americans don't want to repair it, and the unions cost too much, and that bridge is going to collapse on somebody and kill Americans. Now, these guys are going to go up there and do jobs Americans won't do, and they'll repair it, and they'll get their status. If they're giving citizenship to young men to go to carry a gun and be part of the military, Why don't they give citizenship to people that are going to repair infrastructure?
They're not joining them in the military. They're
Yeah, they
putting
are.
them up in hotels. They're delivering
No,
them. They're already delivering them.
Either, so the darker scenario here is there won't be an election. There'll be an event, and Keir Starmer, who's the head of NATO, the Prime Minister of
I
Britain,
think our military is going to be fighting these people.
I think there's going to be an event, and it's probably going to be Russia and China nature, and then NATO is going to be running the U.S. And they're going to all be working for NATO, these guys. And there'll be a pandemic at the same time, and they'll be kicking down doors because they don't speak English and they won't have any empathy because you don't speak their language.
It sounds like we're heading into another pandemic right now with this
And I think
smallpox.
that's starting right now. That's the dark scenario.
The bird flu.
No, the monkeypox.
It's been coming out in media now that there's a monkeypox thing about to go down. I haven't been watching the news.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fires you got to put out. You got to put all the
The
scenarios in
banks
play.
will collapse and all our money will be taken.
Yeah, Wells Fargo's
Okay,
pretty solid.
before when you mentioned
Could be the one bank.
Kennedy running,
It can back all its deposits.
And they become the one bank.
Kennedy was running. Kennedy is an old-time Democrat, not the today Democrat.
Yeah, I know.
Democrat of years ago.
Yeah.
Where it was not so bad. Now, there may be people that were definitely not going to vote for Trump anyway, and they want to, so they're going to vote for the Democrat because they always did.
Have it.
But they're not sure they like Harris.
Mhm.
They may switch over to
Well, that's this week, isn't it? Isn't that now?
Yeah.
Monday.
It starts Monday. That would be.
Well, he's in court right now trying to fight. The Democrats are trying to
Start blocking New York, huh?
They did. He's not on the ballot in New York.
Oh wow.
Really? They took who's on the Republican
That's
ballot in
not
New York?
No, not Trump. Kennedy.
Kennedy, they're
Oh.
trying to be on the New York ballot.
Yeah, there's a few other states trying to do it. They feel threatened by him. They feel like he's going to siphon off Democratic votes and then Trump.
Definitely, I was hoping for that.
But most people say he would take more votes from Trump.
How are they allowed to pull him off the ballot? Like, is there somebody to replace him, or are they putting someone
What
else
they're
in?
doing is illegal. Yeah, they're just doing it. They've tied Trump up in court with 93 felonies
tried
that
to
he
get
never
him
even
off.
committed.
They tried to get him off the ballot and they didn't. They probably won't be able
They're
to.
just tying Kennedy up so he has to go to court, and they're siphoning money out of him because it's just they just want to bleed you dry. That's what they're doing to Trump. Let's bleed him dry. Let's come up with all these trumped up charges and bleed him dry.
Yet he didn't quit.
No.
Trumped
Doesn't
up
that tell you
charges. That's
something
funny.
That he didn't quit.
Who?
Trump, with all the crap that they've been handing him.
Well,
For
he's
the
the
past
mom,
4
he can
years.
still get sentenced.
Huh?
His sentencing is coming.
I heard. Yeah, that was another scenario. So he gets elected, and they arrest him.
Well, they'll arrest
No,
him
they
before he
can't.
gets
No,
elected.
no.
They're
They
gonna, his
can pardon
sentencing is
themselves.
before the election. His sentencing is before the.
What? No, it's my phone.
He can pardon himself
Can he do that?
if they were at some ass.
I doubt Trump would wind up in prison.
Oh, they want to put him in prison.
Well, then he would
Try
wind up in
killing
another
him.
country, and they would have to try and extradite him. He'd
They
go
tried
to a
killing him.
non-extradition country.
They're gonna try again. They're gonna try
They've
again.
tried a few times.
Huh?
I gotta head back to Ball and Chain.
All right.
Are you gonna-
Apparently, I'm a camp guy. I'm not a camp guy. I mean,
Are
I'm a
you gonna
designer.
look at the warehouse?
Yeah, I like to go look at the warehouse.
Oh, you can. If you're headed back, you can look at it on the way, Ronald.
Yeah.
What I was thinking was like, because of New York, you know, New York. Like if you did a New York style, like Soho by the beach, like a New York style loft by the beach, and then just rent it out on Airbnb.
Can't
I
rent
don't-
in there. It's commercial. It's a
You-
warehouse complex.
Can't do that.
Yeah, that's why
You get
I
thrown
was
out.
saying.
Get thrown out.
She knows all
I
the
know all the
laws
laws.
better than
So
I
what's the zone? What can you do there?
It's warehouse space with front offices. I mean, it's fully air conditioned.
It's
But
for
it's for
business.
businesses. It's business licenses only.
Wouldn't
It's
Airbnb,
not residential at all. It's not
So
even
who's the guy that you got to bribe?
Brian Russell,
Brian Russell.
and he's bribable.
Go talk to him.
It's $2,000, $3,000 to change his own.
Yeah, if he's in the office, I'll knock on his door.
$2,000, $3,000. Now you got this Airbnb that's like nobody has, and then you just like there's 2,000-3,000 for a bribe.
There's so, but people,
I'm not gonna do it, but I'll tell you, there's some crooked
There's no-
guys here,
but the
and you
people,
can now get money.
the
you
people
get-
staying there wouldn't want to stay there because it's nothing but commercial stuff.
No, you change the. You put in. I've done it before. I did. I'll show you my stuff.
Okay, so it's a warehouse complex.
I put in
Shit,
160 feet full of plumbing down
You'll see.
in Nevada. I did this in Vegas. You want to talk about like a place that's hard to change rules? Yeah, and then I got it grandfathered in by
I
CPS.
need my phone.
CPS came over, saw the place, and they said, "Hey, you want to foster children? This is amazing for children to live here." So I'm like, I know how to make
There's no
it.
windows. There's no
window?
outdoor area for them.
That's kind of
It's
cool
all
for a private
concrete.
club too.
It's concrete. Yeah, you could have
Could you do a private members club?
You could do a gambling, something with gambling at night because
Yeah.
because during the day there's too many people around.
I'd like to do alternative gambling, like gambling on the election. You know what I mean? Like
Off-
conspiracy gambling.
Like off books Vegas, OTB.
Yeah, like who's gonna win the election, or what's gonna happen January 6th, and then you provide them scenarios, and they go, "Ooh, that's a
And they bet on it.
on the scenario," and it's like political gambling.
Did you ever watch the
Yeah.
documentary by Francis Connolly, JFK to 9/11, Everything's a Rich Man?
Yeah,
Did you ever watch that?
I think it
It's
is. But
3 hours. It's amazing.
I mean, I know it already, so after a while, it's like
It's
you keep looking at the car crash. You're never gonna
No,
get
no,
over
no,
the
no.
car
It's
crash.
called JFK to 9/11.
No, but I
But it starts with World War II, World War One or World War II.
well, I'm coming from that lens. It's all original.
And we would just say, it's 3 hours, and you will start watching it, and you won't stop watching it. It's that good.
But I probably already know all this, right?
Yeah,
You may.
we are. I mean, we know it's the Federal Reserve game.
It's not like you're trying to start up a relationship with your wife.
No, I'm trying to save it.
So you have to take charge. She's a narcissist, and you have to ignore what she wants. That's it. Now, if you can't do that, you're going to suffer. Okay? That's my advice. From one who knows.
Ignore the narcissist. Do what's good for you, and you probably have better foresight
Show
anyway,
them-
and a better work ethic.
That's it.
Well, he's been a great help. I mean, he kind of exposed an entire conspiracy that I didn't even know was going on.
Yeah.
Isn't that scary?
All right. Thanks for that engaging and fun
Do
interview.
not post me, Ronald. I will get
No,
fired
don't
from my
post
job.
this.
I need.
Not until after January 6th.
No, not ever. Not without our permission.
I'll blur your name. I'll blur your face, and I'll morph your voice.
Like our face and put if you put her face, you put Biden, and you put me as Trump,
Okay.
and it's totally AI. And we got a little lilt to our voice.
Yeah.
Can you do that with AI yet?
And my mom will be my
whole
mom.
conversation, I'll tell you what's going to happen, and it's Trump's face. That'd be freaking funny.
And my mom will be the people.
What will I
There's
do?
so much disinformation.
No, she's RFK.
I'm
RFK.
not smart enough to be anything.
I think everything is.
Yeah,
I
the
think
the
they
Trump
want
RFK
us to
Biden
go to
debate.
war with one another. They like to keep us divided. Number one, it keeps us from looking at them.
Well, I think it's going to be my friend says nothing's going to stop it. It's just a slow moving quarterly industrial revolution. We're in the fourth industrial
When is
revolution
our
of AI.
financial system going to collapse?
It's not going to collapse. It's always to make you think it's going to collapse, so you accept what they're doing.
This is the outside of the warehouse.
So you're saying you could do card games?
Sliding.
No, I don't think.
Sliding.
I'm saying that if I was going to do anything, I'd stand at the door collecting money and charge everyone to come in and gamble their asses off.
And then make a lot of money.
Sliding.
Yeah.
You can't.
All
post
I need to
things.
do is, paint the inside and put up some nice lighting and
Gambling tables.
card tables.
So you couldn't do an event center in this?
Not really, there's not enough parking.
People when the venues like nobody's ever seen before, like my work, they'll find a way not to park there. They'll find a way to park somewhere.
Go show them. You'll see. There's not a
You
lot of...
didn't. You got to slide it
Oh,
this way. See?
where is this place?
John Road.
Right off I-95 and
New Life
O'Galley.
Yeah.
The in the warehouses is concrete and the front is tile.
Oh, that's a nice.
There are some offices in there.
What's that elevation thing? That extra elevation? What's that?
Second floor.
It's
It's 2 stories. How high is the ceiling? 20 feet?
15 feet.
Really high.
15 feet?
It's 15, I think.
I think
You
it's
go to the
higher
guy-
than
You go to the
15.
guy and you go, we want to do an exquisite demonstration of a new type of urban live-work design, like a model home, model-like space, where we want people to interface with art and design and then create gentrification in the area and attract tourism. That's what I do. I make the whole area pop. I'm the one who made Christmas pop. Christmas was basically, so I'm the first generation of artists that did Wynwood in Miami with Goldman Properties, where we fuse art to make properties go boom. And then I did this art garden campground in Sticksville, where they're all rednecks shooting off their guns. And now Christmas Heights is like the place everybody's moving to.
Yeah.
Because the Airbnb created all these pop-up, like I said, you watch, we're gonna do our campsite, then there's gonna be some other businesses that popped up. So now there's a little market fresh artisan market around the corner that's been supported by the campers on the property that go there now.
Right.
And then now they're there, and then now people are seeing them doing that, and then they're selling raw milk down the street. So the whole thing's becoming a hobby farm, artisanal farm stay in the country sort of destination.
Right.
Where you're in nature with the pines as opposed to the beach. And so you tell them, like, I'm working with this guy, I work with Goldman Properties, this is the zoning guy. And there's nothing happening in the area. We don't want blight. Okay? You don't want blight to set in while the recession's setting in. So we want to do something where it's going to be a model space for new types of design, where people can experience the space and the art, use it for corporate functions, but also have people purchase the art and experience it as a live workplace, and so they can design their homes or design loft spaces and then attract business around it. So it's a business development concept. What does it take to change the zoning? And you go, like, what does it take for you to... And then he goes, well, da 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 da. And you got to speak in
Well,
that
no,
kind of
Brian
code.
Russell's the majority vote. He owns more warehouses in there than anyone. So it will.
And maybe you might want a couple of his things to do the same thing.
It would
Because
increase the
economy
value
is
of the
gonna get
complex.
tough. The economy's going to get tough.
Yeah. Right now.
So you want to have an
you have to
attraction.
realize, I'm April, May, June, July,
Low season.
August.
May, June, July.
I'm
and
5
August.
months without rent.
May, June,
I'm
July.
only
and
living
August.
on Social Security.
Is
I
the
don't-
place is paid for? The space, the place is
My
paid.
place is free.
So you're just covering the taxes.
No,
Association fees.
taxes
You
are
got
already-
$20,000 in roofing.
Not until next year. I already paid this year's tax. No, I'm covering the condo association fee.
So this warehouse is in a homeowner association lot?
A warehouse association. It's a whole warehouse complex. And they...
Oh, so you have to talk to him. How many other warehouses in this association are in the same boat as you right now?
None.
So it's just you guys.
I think there's maybe a couple other empty
So
ones.
how many of these leases are up?
I don't know.
No, most
Because the economy's going to tank. It's tanking.
most people own, and I'm her
If worse
realtor.
comes to worse, if it doesn't get rented, I'll continue to go, and she can't pay for stuff on it, like the taxes come due, I'll have put money aside to pay the taxes.
I think having this guy. I mean, I'll take some photos. Maybe
I
I'll do a
need
whole.
to get it rented.
I'll
If
do a
somebody-
whole mock-up.
If somebody wants to rent it and they're allowed to do what they want to do, that's fine. Like, I'll rent it to whoever wants to rent it, as long as whatever they are doing there is okay with the association. That's totally, I just want to get it rented for her. It's her income, you know?
It was rented for so.
I don't have the money
No,
No.
unless I had a green card. I would love the space for
I don't
$1,500.
I don't have the money either
2,700.
to pay you to do what you want to do.
Well, maybe there's also an opportunity to do a trade. But the thing is that we would have to talk to this guy, and then while you're waiting for a permanent renter, might be an opportunity to design the place for somebody who's gonna rent it, work out a trade, and then maybe while that process is happening, he starts to go, okay, the economy's not doing well. I like this idea of rezoning and changing things here. And then he gets on board, and then we have like a little bit of a situation. Why can't it turn into a brew pub? Why can't it turn into something else? Why can't it turn into an event center? Why can't it turn into a bingo hall? Why can't it turn into...
They were even considering
why
a
can't it turn
cannabis
into
farm.
An Airbnb art experience gallery where you're selling art?
You can't sleep there.
What if he says yeah? Then we'll change the
We
zone.
won't say yes.
You never know. You don't know unless you
Well, then
ask.
You talk to him.
Yeah.
Talk to him.
You know the reason why New York suffered is the stupid ordinance where they said artists can't live where they paint, and that collapsed New York, and it made it nerdy. Yeah, remember the old days? You could be in a warehouse in Soho. They said you can't live where you work,
They wanted the property.
Oh,
and now there's no art there. Everybody sucks.
They wanted the
It's just
property.
rich kids playing guitar and they can't.
They wanted the properties. They wanted to foreclose on them. They wanted them. They didn't want them to have them anymore.
A land
They wanted
grab.
They wanted there was
New
land
York
grab.
is not cool anymore. I like New York, but there's nothing like New York was in the
25
heyday, the
years ago.
90s.
Nope.
60s,
that was it.
70s,
That was it.
80s,
The
90s.
was like, this is the best. And then it's like, that was its own.
like in the days of Trump.
The days of Trump. Trump was in New York, yeah. But it wasn't, he wasn't in charge. It was
But he was part of New York. And
Mayor
he
Koch.
loved- and he loved
Mayor
it.
Ed Koch.
Yeah.
Ed Koch.
Yeah, Ed
He
Koch
was
is
a good
cool.
one. He was a good.
He was a good guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He was good.
Giuliani did a good job too. But
No, he's the one who shut down he's the one who shut down the artists can't paint in the lot.
oh, did
Giuliani.
he?
He can't live in a warehouse.
That's terrible.
No, Giuliani did that. Yeah.
While he was dressed as a woman.
DeSantis shut down the arts.
Huh?
DeSantis said no funding of arts. He's got a point because it's all going tranny, and it's like senseless art. But the vibe it sets is like art's not important. So it's like that sucks.
But the one thing that's great about art is art art will sustain itself because people are.
You gotta be resourceful. As a good
Well,
artist,
people are attracted. If it's sought after, it supports itself.
Yeah.
If the government or the government supports it, you don't know if it's maintaining itself because it's what people like. Or because
exactly.
so let art,
Yeah.
like anything.
No, I've been very
just like a
resourceful.
restaurant. Just like a restaurant, it's gonna support itself. Either people like the food or they don't.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go under if people don't eat there. And I think government it crosses a line. You don't
Yeah.
know if it's sustaining itself or it's being.
Yeah, no, I
sustained.
had to survive in very, and I've always survived off of art,
Yeah.
off of design. But I mean, I've done unconventional things with art, like, you want that whole wall to look like a piece of agate, or you're walking on a diamond. So people weren't doing that kind of stuff. So I was like, I'm going to give people this, but that's what art's supposed to do. You give people something they've never had in reality, and then you affect their mood.
And if enough people love it, it will sustain itself.
When I did that thing for Goldman Properties at Wynwood, I was on Foursquare as the top 10 things to see in Miami. Because Miami, there's not much to see. You got the Art Deco district. So I was number 10. Just the hallway. It was
Wow.
just this huge hallway. I think I got it here. You should take a look at it. You haven't even seen this stuff since you're covering taxes and stuff. Do you know my work at all?
I know all of the I follow all the flat Earth stuff.
Well, this is how it was born. Painting the flat Earth, and then the physics of.
I'm glad you got to meet Math, Adrian.
You should buy a stapler, Ronald.
Okay, I will. In the meantime, can I borrow those clips?
You can have them.
Okay.
So these are some pieces that are, right here. I'll go backwards. This is white cement.
That's beautiful.
White cement.
Looks like marble.
I told the guy, rip up these tiles. This is in Mexico. I was worried about supply chains. I didn't have my resins to do pool. I'm fine. And so I told him, get 2 inches of cement, white. And then this is all pure dye. And I was doing this during rain season. And if my foot touches this before the sun cures it in the white cement, well, then I got my footprint all over the pool.
Right.
And then I gotta have it dry in time before the torrential downpour during hurricane season. So this was during hurricane season without any footprint, any drip or spill, cured under the sun like a fresco. So this could have been done 500 years ago.
It's really pretty.
It could have been done. So and that was done.
I like the colors.
The
It's
Kraken, when they were talking about the Kraken with Trump.
Yeah.
So it's like this was called Kraken 19. Remember they were talking about the Kraken or something?
Yeah.
Cracking.
The law firm. This is a club in Vegas. This is like the agate texture, moss agate, put down on the floor. So this is the Adobe mock-up, then the realization of it. There's part of the texture there. This is one of my pieces.
Beautiful.
This
You
is
like my
this is in
marble?
Cocoa Beach. This was in Cocoa Beach. Now the building's no longer there. It was a pizzeria by a guy who was good friends with Trump. He's best friends with Trump's brother Robert. And he was like total Trump. He said no, Trump wasn't
That
part
the
of the
one
plan.
that-
It was divine intervention that he won against Hillary. They weren't expecting it. So this is a hotel
Wow, that's beautiful.
in Mexico. So I was like, during Mexico, I was like going around, like, hey, let me stay here for free, cover the materials, the food, blah, blah, da, da, da. And then, and then I got the lodging, then I'll transform your hotel. So we were doing units like this. This is black agate in Scottsdale, Phoenix showroom.
That's very pretty.
This is Orchid Key Inn Hotel. I think they sold the pieces, but they were hanging outside. So they had these huge pieces. They bought them from me, and I think they sold them.
Very, very nice.
This is a butterfly effect. I was telling your mom, where you take the paint and you fold the paper, but I did it on the wall, so there's no drips. So it's a magic trick, and I won't say how I did it.
I don't want to know. That's
No one's ever done the butterfly effect. I could do a whole building, like I folded the corner of the building, like that. This is for Epic Hotel. We didn't go through with it because Russia invaded Crimea and somehow it affected their aesthetic budget. But that thing is still dilapidated, that corner on the Brickell Hotel, Epic Hotel in Brickell. This is a piece I did, bikes in Holland, watercolor. All the white is the paper. There's no white paint. So it's like one strike on the paper and I can't F up.
I told them how I did the pot
The
outside.
pot inside. That's still that hotel, another unit where I did the wall, supplied them with a piece. And it's booked all the time. It's booked all the time. Fake fossils, dolphin fossil. This is a piece in New Zealand.
My mother-in-law is a brilliant artist.
I should introduce
These
you
are
to the.
seashells that I'm going to be proposing for a hotel that I'm doing some design work in Daytona, the new Radisson.
Almost looks 3D.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I like seashells. I think those are great just as a wash on a wall, like a clam or a shell. This is another pool with a Fabergé geometry, and it seals the pool. So it's superior to pool paint because I'm doing the art. This is a hotel in Key West a long time ago.
How long does it take you to do it all?
It could take a week
I
to
asked them the same
2 to 3
question.
weeks. A week to 2 3 weeks. That's the
in a
hallway. That's the hallway that was on Foursquare for Goldman Properties. Now, they did so well with this old warehouse that they sold it and leveled it, and now it's high rise. So that's how fast it goes. This
That's
is a
pretty.
hotel in Mexico, in Bacalar. This year was top 3 2020 places to meet in New York, in Brooklyn. Cava Social. There's a look of it, and you know what that is on the floor? So I designed the bar, all the furnishings, the whole thing's designed by me. That's Bikini Atoll, where they tested the first atomic bomb. But the clients didn't know that I did that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the bomb went, underneath the bar. And there's the whole piece. This is airport staircase. Another pool.
Very beautiful.
This is an old Art Deco fire station. I had to deal with the Heritage Department of DC doing this. The bar, the floor, all stained. One shot. That's the bar looking at
You
another
do
way.
beautiful, beautiful work, really.
Yeah, I mean, and people rent out the place after I've done the work.
You should go talk to whoever commissions for downtown Melbourne.
I want to talk to the arcade
This is
monsters
Frank Sinatra's
people.
old speakeasy that I restored in Reno, Nevada called the
Oh, that's
Trucadero.
great.
So this was, Ginger Rogers and Marilyn Monroe and all of them. And then it was closed for 70 years, and we brought it back to life. And then I did Jupiter on the floor, like sections of Jupiter on the floor. This is a painting for a club called Kama Sutra. It's Kali, but she's doing selfies in all her hands because she's the destruction of ego. So she's transmitting the bomb through the device of destruction.
Jeez.
The phone and the apple, right? The apple. This is a restaurant called Fiddlesticks in Vegas, in Gold Spike Hotel. This is a turkey feather floor in a residential
That's very pretty.
property in NorCal.
So could you do a floor like that over something like this?
I have a whole system about this, and it's a unique system. I'm the only one that developed it because I didn't want to come in with the machine and remove the tile to get to the cement. So what I do is I lay down the hardy backer.
A what?
Hardy backer, it's like a cement board. And then basically I cut it like a puzzle around all the permanent fixtures. And then I glue it down with a special system. And then it's like you're on a cement floor.
And then you do your
And then I do the design.
design.
And then I do layers of resin, and then I do my top coat.
Hear you. Why are you barking?
That's another residential man cave.
Very beautiful.
This is a loft like yours in Las Vegas that we put the plumbing in and then transformed it into this. Now, since I closed it, because my wife was causing issues with her standing in Vegas or standing in Arizona, and I don't want to get into it. And she didn't like it anymore, and she wanted to go back to Florida. I didn't want to be in Florida because I got an ear issue at the time. And so I came back, and then I had to close this whole thing down. And I had the whole studio set up for my son. It was approved by CPS because CPS got involved. And then they say, whoa,
It's
wow.
like layers of the earth, like rock.
It's tiger eye agate.
Okay.
But then I rearranged the bands to make diamonds. So you would use a real
But
stone.
you painted all this.
It's all painted, yeah. It's all painted with brushes.
Now,
But it's a system that's really
do you
fast.
take a brush?
No, I got a whole system.
Yeah, a different thing.
I paint standing up, and then I take poles, and then I put brushes inside the poles, and then I fix them in, and then I paint like this. And then I use mops.
Whatever it comes
I
out.
use mops like big paint brushes. And then I use a roller to seal it all, or I paint with a roller. So I paint with a roller, I'm not like this.
You're not doing that.
No, I'm standing up like a contractor, painting standing
What
up.
about when you're doing a lot of lines?
Freehand. It's all freehand. That's freehand.
So in a lot of
That's all. There's no measurement. That's all freehand. I have a
That'd be
technique.
nice in the bathroom.
in a lot
That's a spa in Miami.
in a lot of cases, you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out.
No, I put everything on computer. You have 3 choices. I give the client 3 choices. They choose one. I might change it a bit, and then they go, and then we approve. That's it. I talk to the client, and we come up with something for the
So
multi.
you know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, and I come to 95 to 110% accuracy.
See, like with,
110 means it's better.
with what I did out there, you don't know how it's going to come out.
No, everything for me. As crazy as it looks, that's what the client wanted, and that's what was done up on the computer. This is the new thing that I'm doing. This prototype, where I put these guest houses. They're kind of Japanese architecture,
Yeah, Adrian, I was thinking he could put one in your backyard where that shed is.
and then basically.
And you can rent it out as an
property tax,
Airbnb.
you have guests there, and I designed the whole
She
thing.
should.
It's a she shed, but it's really inhabitable.
Which one? Oh, you're the house with the pool. Yeah.
Well, they both have
That whole
pools.
thing
They
into-
both have
Diana's house
Which
that
one's
we
the pool
went
that's
to.
like derelict right now.
My
Diana's.
sister's. Right now, mine's a little tinted green, and where my husband's cleaning it up.
And they got a big
How long
back
does your
there.
pool last? How long does a pool last with no water before it pops?
It just depends on the pressure underneath.
If
the
it
pool.
rains a
If
lot.
it
Rains
has-
a lot. There's a lot of. You'd have to wait for the
It
drought.
depends on the if it's dry. I don't
But
think
you're by
it's-
the ocean, so is the salt water coming into the aquifer?
No.
Are you kidding?
No, it's just a.
Never.
We
That's
have
why our
barrier, and we
insurance.
have barrier
That's why our
islands
insurance is so high. We live too close to the ocean,
Oh, okay.
which has never affected us.
too. Never.
It's an outside
Never.
deck.
Except for the hurricanes that rip your roof off.
That's
The
a
hurricanes
floor
are different.
Be nice.
and a theater.
Hurricanes can go anywhere.
That was a
So
computer.
you could do a pool deck.
I do pools, yeah. I do pool
Pool
decks as
decks,
well. That's
yeah.
that pool that I showed you.
Adrian, he could turn your house into an art piece that it has
Or
value
in-
and is a tourist attraction.
I mean, I would love to have my patio out here done.
I want to get him in touch with Arcade Monsters because they just had the.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you about Arcade Monsters later, but you would be the perfect guy to redo their mural. They had to have it taken down. The city made them take down all their artwork and is forcing them out of their building. And they're this huge arcade with all this cool
Why are they doing that?
because they don't like
In
their
the
art.
census
They don't like their artwork, and because it's too kind of controversial.
What are they? What's the?
It's
artwork?
kind of like
Dirty.
space and it could be flat earthish. I was thinking to introduce you to the owner of the company, and they might contract you to do the new artwork for their new facility.
So they're leaving that place and going somewhere else.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to do all new
But why are
artwork.
they leaving? The government said your artwork is.
The city said, yeah, they got to take down their artwork.
And that's in this county.
Yeah, right down the street, Babcock. Yeah, Brevard County, right
Is
here.
it up now still?
We can drive by and see. It's not far from here. 10 minutes.
Seriously?
On the
They
way out
haven't
of
said
town.
About the artwork.
is it that arcade on Babcock?
Arcade Monsters, right behind
Oh,
the
that
Hooters.
place is great.
Well, I try not to get too much political in the art because the politics is
No
now.
good.
Well, you would be hired to just go and do their
No,
new
my
mural.
politics is my mouth, but I am doing a series of flat Earth paintings. That is the alternate NASA. I show you high detail images of Earth and how it extends, and it looks just like NASA's paintings. Oh, they look just as realistic. My next piece is Richard
He
Nixon.
called NASA and said,
I know.
That's how we met.
Yeah. And my new painting is Richard Nixon calling the moon. It's called Astro Nuts.
astronauts.
It is going to be a problem.
Wasn't it Kennedy calling the moon?
No, it's
No, it's
They
Nixon.
took out Nixon had to be part of the theater speech.
So you
The
think
theater
Trump
act.
is going to win?
I think Trump's going to win, yeah. Because I was told by inside that it's going to all go fascist alt-right.
It's going to what?
Alt-right. It's going to go right-wing. We went left-wing, now they're going to go a right-wing. And they're going to have
Mom,
the
you would
collision.
make a great alt-right.
They're going to have the collision.
You would make a fabulous alt-right fascist because you are, and I mean that in a good way.
My mom.
It's going to be Aryan Zionism is what it's going to be.
You would make a great alt-right.
Good for you.
fascist.
You look like an Aryan
Oh, definitely.
Zionist.
I'm
Yeah.
going to get the yarmulke.
Yeah.
Just sort of blend in.
I want him to
I got all my
Yeah,
prep
now why
outfits.
is it that we are allowing
Immigrants with yarmulkes?
No. We are allowing these protests on college campuses against Jewish people.
I want
Yeah,
him,
I think it's all part of this Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah.
They want to
You're
basically
right,
have.
it is Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah, and then the real thing is not what Kamala or Trump's saying. It's the thing that happens when those two things collide. And that's the thing you can't see. That's the thing that's dangerous. That's your blind spot.
You
And
think there's
that's
gonna be
your
Is
Lucifer.
there going to be
That's your
is
Antichrist.
there going
That's
to be
your.
more war in the Middle East? Is Israel going to still continue to fight with?
I think Israel's going to lose, possibly. But I don't know. Ukraine's taking Russia, and now China shut down
I don't
finance
think
with
Ukraine's taking.
China shut down.
I don't think you're touching it.
China shut down doing business with Russia 2 days ago.
It doesn't matter.
That's crazy. They used to be buddies.
I think if Russia gets back into a corner, he'll demolish Ukraine. Demolish them.
Well, they're in crooks right now, moving through it.
It won't
Weirdly
last.
enough, I don't know
That's
what's
just,
going on.
that's just to create justification.
I don't know what's going
He's
on.
allowing that to happen to create justification.
I wouldn't pick a
He's gonna
side.
crush them.
I would say don't pick a side because you could be wrong.
If Russia ever
You
goes,
could be on the wrong
if Russia,
side.
if Russia ever goes
yes,
down,
but then you have the option of facing up to it.
I mean, I'm not an
changing
American,
your
so I
mind.
don't want to pick a side. But I'll say, hey, look at as a political analyst, here's some scenarios you don't want to happen. So watch for
I
these
think if
scenarios.
Russia goes down,
Well, you are an American, honestly.
Well, I mean, like a
yeah,
US,
yeah,
US
citizen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably more American than
I
But-
think if Russia goes down, it's because they won't step in line. They won't become part of the fiat currency system, and they are a holdout, just like a lot of the Middle Eastern countries were for a long time until we went to war with them. You know what I'm saying? I think everything's about.
Well, like this guy said to me, it's just no, that's all fear, and he says it's just going to be they're going to constantly make us fear. And then while we're all fearing this other thing, we're going to accept CBDC. We're going to go, oh, at least we're not going to war. Well, I'll do the vaccine. I'll do the CBDC. I was like, okay, the economy.
Any of that.
But they're going to try to surround us, and then we're going to be the ones left out in the unvaccinated, don't have a crypto, lost my bank account. And that's why I'm saying we need to create a relevant.
You think people are going to go for these vaccines again with all these people dying of
Let me tell you something.
myocarditis?
Let me tell you something. And I told Ronald the same thing. I don't know how compliant they are to fall into a trance. And that's what's scary. And I think that's what's going to scare my wife. You know, like, and she's going to be like, she's like, oh, you're crazy. It's over. It's never going to happen. And I said, I don't know. They did it. What if this week you go outside, they say something on the news, and then they're all wearing masks and swabbing again. Then you're going to be like, oh, okay. Okay, so these are like meat suits. That's what I'm worried about, is that I'm underestimating how easily the masses go into a trance.
I don't think you could even get 40% of the world to comply with that. Not even 40%.
Well, I don't care about the 90% or the 50% or the 60% or the 80% that will be in a trance and do it all over again and die. I think they should go. What I want to try to do, I agree. I agree with it. Now I agree with it. They did it to themselves. You know what I mean? Like, they did this and then another one, and they did this and they wore that, and they just kept on doing it. And I'm like, okay,
they deserve what they get for doing it.
Like, I got the clay.
But you know what? There's a lot of children that did it because their parents made it.
Yeah, and that's unacceptable. But I'll tell you what, since I put the clay, I put the clay on every day, and I talk about the clay's sucking out anything that entered the orifices of my eyes, my nose, and my mouth.
You didn't take anything, did you?
No. I eat the clay. I eat the clay and it cleans me out. I put the clay on so it sucks anything out. I put it on my hair so it sucks out any poisons that are going in through the shampoos.
Has your son been
I'm never sick.
Has your son ever been vaccinated?
No, he's got nothing. Not even vitamin K. And that wasn't fun.
My kids.
And I had to go get the vaccine exemption recently. So I had a vaccine exemption meeting. Okay, Math Powerland's going in. He's not even a U.S. citizen or national.
My kids were never.
He's here on a permit. He's got a born U.S. national boy, biological. He's going in to get the vaccine exemption, and that's my right as a father.
You know, Trump is passing a law, if he's in, that any schools that
you can't force
their parents to get them
Well,
vaccinated. He's not going to fund the school.
His son's not vaccinated. His son.
No, and neither is Bill Gates' children. Bill Gates' children are not mRNA'd.
No. Any vaccines. Any at all.
Same with Gates. His daughters are not vaccinated. That prick his
No,
children
our kids aren't vaccinated.
Good.
No.
Either are my other daughters.
Well, the vitamin K is not vitamin K either. That's like, who's popping it open going, like I was telling Ronald last night, it's like, well, wait a minute, let's see if that's really vitamin K. This isn't the sun. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know what,
Yeah.
You know what vitamin K looks like?
Yeah.
You know what,
These guys
Sun
in the
rays.
lab coat that just like parrot.
You know what Ronald did? Did he tell you?
No.
When he was in the military?
He fakes his.
He forged the doctor's signature.
So I wouldn't have to get the anthrax vaccine series. My buddy would get the shot. I would look at his shot record. I would take this, and then I would forge the doctor's signature on my shot record, and then go show it to my sergeant and go, "Here, I got vaccinated."
If you ever want to forge a signature, either put it over a glass table that's got a light on it and trace it, or put it on the window and trace it where the sun.
I did good enough freehand, and then I passed, and they didn't bother me.
So what are you doing it slowly, or you're? Because I thought the whole point of taking a signature was getting the motion, doing it 100 times.
No, you just do it.
She's
My
very
name, my landlord.
Very artistic.
Send me a
very good.
check.
Very artistic.
Not, the guy I was renting the building to sent me a check. He forgot to sign it. I called him. I said, "You didn't sign the check. It wouldn't go through." He said, "Sign my name." I said, "Sign your name, right?" He knew to trust me. So I took the old check from a month before. I taped it on the window. And I took the new check
Put
and
over
I
it.
put it over it.
What?
The light was coming in, and I traced it, and I deposited it. And it
That's
was
it. And but yeah, it's consent too. So
tracing.
All right.
Tracy.
Good talk, guys.
Ooh.
End of recording. Thanks for watching the show. Now you know where Math Powerland is and
Do
where he
not
stands
post me
and the
wrong, I'll
predictions.
beat you
That's
up.
all right. This is recorded on August 17th, 2024,
Who did the Sistine
but it'll be
Chapel?
released on January 7th, 2025.
Who did the Sistine Chapel?
No,
Leonardo.
don't. Well, I
Okay.
Ron.
No,
As long as I have a
Michelangelo.
job, you can't release
You
that
know, you did
that
that.
shit.
No,
You can't. I work for
That.
a big company.
This is an important interview, Adrian.
How do you do it?
And I'll block out your voice and face so no one will see you and they won't hear your real voice.
A paper on
Promise.
the floor. And he drew the design. Then he took a needle and he pinholed it all the way.
What, for the Sistine Chapel?
You watch,
And he taped
there's
it
a
to the
documentary on it.
ceiling, and he painted the outline. Then he did it. Did you know that?
Say that again. What did you say? So how did he pin it on the roof?
He drew the map of the outline first on paper,
What he
put
wanted.
pinholes in it on the outline, taped it to the ceiling, and then painted.
I don't think he had tape.
The paper.
Somehow He adhesed it to the ceiling.
Painted it into
And
the.
then painted.
Then he got his outline, then he pulled the paper down and filled it in.
Well, the other way you do it is like the way I do it is I work in charcoal. I'm gonna put it on paper, and then I roll it, and I make the print.
Yeah, well, it's the
And then I
same.
paint the outline.
Hmm.
One way of doing it.
He could have used charcoal.
Well, I
because
was
that's what
doing-
he
Probably
probably
did.
drew with
I
back
was
then.
doing-
That's what they would do with the Shroud of Turin. You know the Shroud of Turin where they say it's
Yeah,
Christ?
where it's Jesus.
So basically what they would do is like, I want to do your portrait. So that's why the paintings are all life size. That's my theory. And the doors are huge. So you can get the big paintings in and out of Europe.
Oh, those were for the Giants.
I was doing.
But I mean, I got a huge door so I can get my paintings out in my little tiny temple. So I would put the soot on your face, the charcoal. Then I take the fabric,
And
and then I would print it onto the canvas,
wow,
and then I
you
get
got
all,
their face.
and then I got the face, without a camera. That's how I would do it. And then if I want to get you from an angle, well, then I would do technical drawing. So then I would do the print, and I would do that, and then I would do how I'm trying to get different angles, and I would transfer angles of the head on to get your angle that way with the light.
When I was trying.
Or I would get your profile, and I would print it with your front, and then maybe part like this, and then I would map it out to fit. You know what I'm saying? And then,
When I was doing cakes, I wanted to do a birthday cake for a girl. So I stole the picture off her mother's TV. I brought it home and I put rice paper, and I traced the rice paper, put it on the cake, and then I proceeded to do a sculpture almost. And it came out like her, remember?
Beautiful.
I did
She
that
did
to
beautiful
kind of-
portraits on cake.
I did that to quite a few cakes.
nice.
And when I was doing babies' t-shirts and little t-shirt and panty sets
Oh yeah.
with Mickey Mouse in them, coloring book. I tore out the page of the coloring book. And I put it under this shirt and taped the shirt to the window, and I drew the picture on the shirt. Then you put it through the loop and you
You
tighten
tighten
it.
the fabric.
And then I painted in all the colors.
Well, I'm going to do the same thing with my son. We're going to do flat screen TV, which is perfect, and you get them like cheap at Goodwill, $20 or whatever. Put in the movie from Disney. Pause it. Which one do you like? That shot, whatever cartoon. Take the tracing paper,
Yeah, I'm tracing.
tape it on top of the TV, and I'm going to show him, and then I guarantee you this is going to be his new addiction. He'll be like, and that's where he's going to go. Because I actually started painting by tracing. And I started painting by tracing and copying Disney characters and characters.
That's
from
what she
I
cartoons.
went to
That's what she
airbrushing
did.
school.
She can airbrush beautiful. Have you airbrush?
I've done airbrush too.
This is the funny
It's a lot of
story.
work though, the
I
airbrush.
know.
Cleaning it.
Yeah, no,
I was like, I might as well just paint with a paintbrush.
Right, I gave that up.
Look at my mom and Math, the art power couple.
I had to practice on something. So I went into my husband's drawer and I took out his undershorts. And I was painting
Tidy whities.
palm trees and boats on his undershirt.
He'd wear them.
That's
He
nice.
on
didn't
the back.
care.
Well, I
But
wish
what
my wife would
happened
do
one
that.
day was we went to the country club pool and he forgot he didn't put his bathing suit on.
Underneath his
And he
pants.
put down his pants, but there was the design of the palm tree. So it kind of looked like he was wearing a bathing suit. But when he looked down, he quickly picked his pants up and went home and got his bathing suit. But there are a lot of funny things that happen when you're learning to do stuff.
Yeah, no, it's all about like people using they think things are a crutch. I actually didn't know they were tracing back then, so I would take a photo this big and of what I wanted to paint when there was before cameras and phones and then, and I didn't know that those hyperrealists were taking projectors or doing
Yeah,
acetate.
They had something.
And they were
that-
doing an overhead projection that they would print out on an acetate transparency of the photograph that they would get on an arcade computer and
Yeah.
they would just trace. I was actually taking a small photograph of you or somebody or
And you could
nature,
put it on
and
there.
I had to do the mathematical amplification
I had
in
one
my
of those.
head to make it exact. Okay,
Right.
so I'm going to make my father's head or this person's little head. I had to do all the magnifying in my head and then make the head come out this big. And I was like, I got really good at that. And then one day somebody says, oh, they're all tracing and projecting. Are you projecting? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, they're all using projectors, the hyperrealists. And I'm like, no, I'm doing that. I'm doing the math in my head, freehand. And like, they were looking at me like, no. And I was like, but you're doing a projection and then you're tracing first. I was like, no, I'm mixing the color on the white canvas and I'm gonna make that eye. I'm not even doing the whole head. I started doing puzzles as a kid, and that's where my brain got wired. So I would take the puzzles and I'd be focusing on making the whole image that way. That's how I started painting. That's my approach to painting. I wouldn't do like a whole layer and then do a whole layer. Now I do for design. For design, I do. I'll do the whole
Or you
layer
were
of
just
the
gonna
eye.
paint something.
You know, I'll do it like a printer. But when I'm doing a painting, I'm like, I don't want to do the whole painting in a layer and then
Yeah, have
get
you
bored.
been- have you
I'm gonna
been-
focus and build like that.
Have you taken any of your stuff to the art gallery? In
Art
O'Galley?
galleries are a place where it smells like dust.
In O'Galley? No.
They want to take 50%
Oh yeah.
for something that they want me to charge $2,500 to meet their market, and then I'm gonna make $1,200 for something that took 3-4 months to make with my paintings, not my floors. My floors are fast. Funny, huh? Small painting take like 6-7 months, maybe 2 years, and a floor I'm done in 2 weeks or a week. I'm out.
Isn't that funny?
It's like huge, but it's just because I got big instruments and I'm working with the physics, and I'm not doing faces. I'm doing like rocks and
design,
agate.
it's
I'm doing
design.
design, you know. So, but I enjoy it, and it is art. It's art design, but
I think it's very beautiful.
it's. I'll tell you
Do
what.
you have a Facebook page with it on
You know,
there?
I have a website, and I'm going to do a separate Instagram page.
What's your website name?
www.mathpowerland.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you'll see them making Stonehenge, one of my relatives, like over 100 years ago. You know, the Stonehenge, they think that was made like thousands of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's
No.
totally fake. They made it in the 1900s. They just
Just as a fake archaeology
It's a
place.
fake archaeological, and you'll go into special projects on my website, and then you'll see all the footage of them making Stonehenge 100 years ago.
No.
Notice how they say www is World Wide Web and not GW Global
You know,
Web.
it's funny when I
Truth hidden in plain sight.
Oh, well, it's a World
the
Economic Forum.
face on the cake.
It's
Yeah.
not the Global
Now you go
Economic
up-
Forum.
Right. World Economic
Yeah.
Forum.
Yeah, anything that's like with force
They
and
do it
legal will not use the word
nothing
globe.
flat.
And you'll never see a globe
Whole
on any
picture.
government
You bring them a
agency
picture and they copy it.
document or
Right.
because they don't want to be liable.
Right. For misrepresentation or fraud or.
Like the globe says, it's not for educational purposes.
Ah.
Underneath it says this is not an educational representation of the earth.
Huh.
You
Interesting.
know, when I used to do the cake, that was difficult. Now you go up to any store with the picture and they put the whole picture on a cake.
I
That's
know
all
that.
Or
computerized.
BJ's does it. Like if you want to put your son's face on a They just
You
scan in
know-
the picture.
You know that.
So they make it with sugar and icing, the face?
You eat
Why
the
don't-
face.
You don't know that.
No, I'm a little behind in the cake
They
technology.
No, but
I didn't know it was that advanced. These are advanced cakes now.
BJ's.
AI cakes made with
Artificial
GMOs,
intelligence cakes.
made with GMO
you
ingredients.
know, you go to birthday parties, you see the portrait of the kid on the cake,
I didn't see that.
or family pictures on the cake.
No, I haven't gotten to
They
that.
do that.
I guess I've been in Mexico.
Too
They don't
long.
have that technology.
Welcome back to America, Math. See.
They wouldn't be able to put the whole family on those cakes.
All right, end of
So
recording.